Alright guys, this video is to show you how to navigate through a Readworks assignment. So I know this is new to some of you, so I want to give you just some tips to get through it. So when you go to your Readworks assignment, and this is just a sample one, this isn't one that I'm giving to you, this is just an example, you are going to open it up and then you'll click right here where it says sign in with Google Accounts. You might need to do an extra step that basically gives it permission to go through your Google account. So you might have to click like OK a couple of times. And once you get in, I just want to show you what it's going to look like. So you'll see here, this is the reading passage. This is an elephant's excellent trunk, and it's got a picture and then the reading that goes along with it. There are different views that you can look at it. Now here this shows me passage, and then right here it shows questions. So these are the 8 questions that go along with it, and that's the reading passage. Now what I really like are these buttons up here. So this button right here allows me to click it and I can see the questions on the right and the reading on the left, which I think is really helpful. Another thing is if you're feeling like the words are a little too small on the screen, you can click this button right here and it will make the words even bigger and even bigger. So it gets like 1, 2 levels bigger, and that way it just makes it a little bit bigger for you to see. This button right here will number the paragraphs, so you know the first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. And then you also have the option to allow it to read to you. Now, for most of you, I believe this reading should not be too challenging, right? You guys are some of my top readers, so I'm giving you this as an assignment that I would like you to read on your own. However, if you get to a word where you're kind of like stuck with what that word is, maybe you're not sure what one of these words in the question is, you can click this little, like a little volume button, and if you click it, it will read to you
What elephant body part is most of this passage about?
Now it's a super boring voice, but if you need a little help with reading it, that can help you as long as the different question choices for the answer. Now, same goes with the reading. You can see here I can play it and listen to it, but I would like you to read it on your own first. So as you're reading, you can like click on each word and highlight it, or you can just take your cursor and just doop, 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 follow along as you're reading. So once you've read it a couple times, it's not very long. Again, you're not doing the elephant one, I assigned you a different one. Then you come over and you're going to answer these questions. So it'll ask you some multiple choice questions. And if you're not sure, the cool part is you can go back and you can just reread it again to find the answer. Now you'll notice these ones are what are called multiple choice, where you get to pick like A, B, or C. And then when you get toward the end of it, it's going to have spots for you to type in your answer. So this says, what can an elephant use its trunk for? So within the article, it gave you some examples of what an elephant can use its trunk for. So when you go to type your answer, and I'm going to see what you type, you can keep it simple, right? You could do, I would say, like a first grade answer, which might just say, what can an elephant use its trunk for? It could be to help its baby. So I could write to help its baby, period. Now, I would like to challenge you with doing a second grade response, and it would look more like this. What can an elephant use its trunk for? I'm going to start it by saying an elephant. I'm using right here in the text to help me. An elephant can use its trunk. Now I could say to help its baby. So instead of just saying to help its baby, I'm saying an elephant can use, I just caught an error, can use its trunk to help its baby. Now if you start to notice something like this, where you're like, oh, there's a mistake, yeah, well, because it shouldn't be that kind of it. So you can maybe fix some errors, or if you see something that's underlined in red, I'm not worried about the spelling on this at all. However, I did use this to help me. Elephant was right there, so I just copied it when I typed it. So you have some spots where you can type some answers. Now, when you get to ones like this, there might be some that say class discussion question. Obviously, you might not be able to do this part, because, for example, we're not doing this in class. So if there's one that seems like it's not one that you can do, feel free to skip over it. And then lastly, it says draw a picture. For this one, has you draw a picture. Again, I'm going to have that be optional. If you have to do any pictures or anything like that with some of these, I'm going to let you make the decision. If you want to draw the picture, you can. If you don't want to draw the picture, you don't need to. Then when you're all done, you can click the submit button, and that tells me you answered all the questions, which I obviously haven't, and you're ready for me to grade it. Now, one last thing I want to show you. See how there are these buttons up here along the top? I didn't get to show you this one. So this one has the ABC. When I come over here, it can highlight so I can kind of follow along on the lines as I'm reading, which is kind of a fun feature. All right, so once I'm done and I click submit, oh, it tells me I have 6 unanswered questions. So if you accidentally skip one, I can go back and answer it. Now I'm going to click submit anyway, just so you can see what it looks like when you turn it in. Once you're done, it just says your assignment is submitted, thank you, and then I'll be able to check a little bit later to see how you did. And then you could just head back to your classroom and go ahead. Once you're done, you can click the, oh, and you know what? It did it for you. It turned it in because you submitted it. So you didn't even have to click turned in on that one.